have a lot to grab onto in terms of athletic prowess at Marist College. The number of pro athletes we've ever had is pretty small.
For a Division I school, we haven't really contributed a whole lot to the pro sports landscape. That is except for one man. The kid from the Netherlands that put the Red Foxes on the map. We probably will never have a more successful athlete out of Marist College than Rik Smits. The man was a college superstar, getting drafted second overall in 1988. He was second in command for one of the most successful basketball teams of the 1990s, albeit one that never won the title. But he did make the finals in 2000 against the Lakers. Plus, it was the development of a stud like Rik Smits that bolstered the resume of one Jeff Bauer, who was an assistant coach when Smits was at Marist. Bauer eventually became general manager of the New Orleans Hornets, the dude who drafted Chris Paul and traded for Tyson Chandler. Years later, he returned to Marist as the basketball head coach, promising to lead the team back to its former glory. And then he left after 1 year to become general manager of the Detroit Pistons, which totally screwed over the Red Fox basketball program. He actually was just fired in June after 4 years in Detroit and bringing in Blake Griffin. Marist, meanwhile, is continuing to flounder, now on its fourth head coach in 7 years. Thanks, Jeffy. Rik Smits had a fantastic career that was unfortunately cut short by nerve damage in his foot. That nerve damage was apparently caused by wearing tight shoes as a teenager. Ha! Everyone laughs at me for wearing New Balance, calling them dad shoes and whatnot, but guess who's not gonna have their NBA career cut short, baby? Art support for days! Ryan Kelly for 3! The 1990s were a glorious time in the NBA, and for the Indiana Pacers in particular. It was winning time. Pacers, Knicks, Reggie and Spike Lee, they were a must-watch team. And fortunately, that must-watch team was pretty easy on the eyes, thanks to their set of threads. Indiana, let's face it, had some boring jerseys up until 1990. Really standard text, some nice piping, but ultimately really dull. They tried something different in 1985, but the blue almost looks purple, and that text is pretty lame. So lame, in fact, that the San Diego Chargers kind of ripped them off 3 years later. And if the San Diego Chargers are doing it, you know it's time to stop. Kelly! I would go so far as to say, I hate this iteration of the Pacers jersey. I mean, look at this logo. It's some four-fingered hand clutching a tennis ball. Would you think this is the logo of a professional basketball team? Or a dodgeball squad?
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. What?
The story behind this jersey is actually pretty incredible. It started with Florence Griffith Joyner, a track star known for her dominance and her unique tracksuits. Her most famous look was this one-legged one-piece, which... does it add aerodynamics? Is she particularly fond of her left leg? I don't know. Well, anyway, she retired from the Olympics and decided to devote all of her attention to fashion design. Hearing this, Rebecca Polaronis, an unpaid intern in the Pacers front office, pitched the idea that FloJo should be brought in to design some new Pacers jerseys. They rented up the flagpole, and Pacers management kind of said, meh, alright. Management switched up the logo to the P design you see now, darkened the blue and brightened the yellow, and thus FloJo was turned loose. She came up with a few different designs, keeping in mind, as GM Donnie Walsh said, what looks good on Florence won't necessarily look good on Greg Dreeling. Well, now I just don't see what he means there. FloJo proved to be a revolutionary in the jersey world. The shorts were made longer and with a stretch fabric. The jersey had a V-neck, which, to my knowledge, is the first basketball jersey to use it and has been adapted by several teams since. The Pacers still use it in most of their current designs. And of course, there's the trademark asymmetrical swoop on the right side, an homage to FloJo's unique one-legged tracksuit. These threads define a generation of Pacers basketball. They're the jerseys Reggie Miller wore when he dropped 9 points in 8 seconds at the Garden. They represent the best years in Pacers history since joining the NBA. But they aren't my favorite. Hear me out! Dear God, hear me out! Even though these designs are some of the most unique and groundbreaking in NBA history, they were retired after the 96-97 season. Why? Well, they're a little too 90s. I mean, don't get me wrong, I want to see these get brought back once in a while, but they just wouldn't work as the everyday threads in 2018. The font especially is very dated. The plain rounded text, the lowercase letters, the drop shadow. I mean, if you Google search 90s font, you'll get some results pretty similar to this one. I'm not joking, that's a real Google image. If we're going by how timeless the Pacers look can be, look no further than the pinstripe jerseys that replaced the FloJos in 1997. I mean, even though pinstripe basketball jerseys were distinctly a 90s thing, and a common one at that, if you put the pinstripe jerseys in a time capsule and dug it back up 50 years from now, it really wouldn't look that weird. Yes, it would be less unique, and don't get me wrong, I'm with you on that, but they're just going to age better. I mean, listen to the way the players speak about the FloJos. A jersey is a jersey, George Hill. What's your favorite? The pinstripe, David West. They were trendy for their era, Paul George. If there was a way to tap dance around saying, yeah, these ugly now, that's it. Plus, I'm just not a yellow guy, and that's totally personal preference, but this kind of bright yellow, it just doesn't suit me. It's like the Pittsburgh Penguins. You can call it gold all you want, it's still friggin' crayon yellow. Alright, fine. If there are so many Indiana fans that want to defend the navy and mustard, well then just answer me this, alright? If you're such a proud Hoosier, then why you gotta defend Michigan colors, huh? Oh, touched a nerve, huh? Yeah, you've been subconsciously supporting the Wolverines all this time, darkening the blue, brightening the yellow, wearing longer, baggier shorts. Does that sound familiar, Indiana? Kidding aside, I have the utmost respect for these threads that opened the door for new and unique designs that defined the 1990s. Not every design was perfect, but it's hard not to see the benefit given nowadays the NBA is so focused on providing new, improved, and unique jersey designs year after year. The NBA is the most fashion-forward league in America, and we have FloJo to thank for that. So for the score, well, how tall was Reggie Miller? 6'7"? Yeah, alright. 6.7 it is for the navy FloJos. The white design probably scores a little higher for me. Closer to Rik Smits' height, 7.4. That's it for Jersey Corner. Kelly!